Morning, I'm Gary Wiles. With the effort to scrap our Constitution and replace it with socialism, it would be a good idea to look at the differences between capitalism and socialism in the business world. Number one, ownership. With capitalism, assets of businesses are owned by private firms. With socialism, assets are owned by the government and cooperatives. This means no one can own a business without the government being directly involved in ownership decisions. So company owners, you think your government is in your business now, just wait and see how business is dominated by government. Number two, equality. This is some of the economic equality being bannered about by candidates right now. In capitalism, the equality of business income is determined by free market forces. In socialism, there is no free market, and business equality of income is determined by redistribution of that income, decidedly unequal, depending on which businesses the government favors. Economic drivers for equality and inequality are also determined by the government, such as wages, including minimum wage and universal basic income. In this part of the model, existing businesses are introduced to manage giving in order to support minimum wage, and instead of unemployment insurance for laid off or furloughed employees, they and the rest of the unemployed workforce in the country are guaranteed a basic minimum wage, whether employed or not. Ready or not, business owners and responsible taxpayers, this is waiting in the wings for you. Number three, prices. With capitalism, prices are determined by supply and demand. With socialism, prices are controlled by the government. Supply and demand goes out the window. Prices across the board are controlled by government. The recent example is from Venezuela. The decimated economy from years of price controls and leaning toward socialism means, through no fault of its own, the manufacturing sector just couldn't afford to keep up with the basic goods for the population. Milk, butter, coffee, cornmeal, and toothpaste had been in short supply. Then the country came up 40 million rolls of toilet paper short. They supposedly imported 50 million rolls, but the price control approach across the board didn't work. It never works with socialism. This is according to Quartz, an online news service, from an article dated in 2013. Toilet paper was priced out using a, quote, state-controlled prices that are set below market-clearing prices, unquote, and always result in shortages, according to Steve Hank, professor of economics at Johns Hopkins. A year earlier, William Newman from the New York Times explained, quote, the prices are set so low, they say, that companies and producers cannot make a profit. So farmers grow less food, manufacturers cut back production, and retailers stock less inventory, unquote. The result was high demand without the assets by business to manufacture sufficient quantities. Is everyone ready for shortages on the grocery shelves, like toilet paper, bread, milk, and other necessities? Number four, efficiency. Capitalism market competition drives efficiency incentives. Compete for lower costs and make more profits. With socialism, government-owned firms have a decreased incentive to be efficient. Why bother? The government takes all the profits. Number five, taxes. Taxes in a free market society or less government spending is required for business. With socialism, since the government runs and owns a business, other free market measures that call for less government spending and taxes are depressed or removed completely, paving the way for a democratic socialist government to tax and spend more. Progressively higher taxes, in part to pay for the socialist view of economic equality, as described above. Number six, healthcare. With capitalism, healthcare is left to the free market and competition. Socialists will complain that leaves millions of people without healthcare. Their socialist point of view is the only solution is everyone is on government healthcare and should be free for everyone at point of use. A couple of things about the socialism point of view. First, when has the government ever run any type of business efficiently? The example of the U.S. Post Office losing $60 billion since 2004 keeps popping up. Secondly, The socialists want Medicare and Medicaid for everyone free. That's fine, but right now, Social Security and Medicare face a $100 trillion shortfall in 3 decades due to 10,000 retiring people per day and Medicare benefits paid to recipients at 3 times the rate of what they paid into the system. If the government can't keep up with this now, how will they ever expand it and somehow make it at least as or more efficient? They can't. The socialist view of healthcare is not realistic. 7. Problems encountered by business. In a free market capitalist society, problems include potential economic inequalities, market failures, and monopolies. Business works with government. Government doesn't own the business, and these issues usually work themselves out. With a socialist view, the inefficiency of state industry is a lot more rampant, and incentives to promote and grow the business are depressed or removed completely. As shown above, business dies. Number 8, advantages encountered by business. Capitalist economy. Free market competition, supply and demand, and limited government intrusion promote a dynamic economy, innovation, and economic growth. Socialist economy. Government tries to promote equality through price and market controls and favoritism, and their attempt to overcome market failure would not have been necessary to begin with if the government had not tried to control business with price, market controls, and favoritism, as shown above. Thank you.